So now we are on the last bead. So use your right fishing line to enter the last bead. As we are working, we were using this thread to pick the beads, but because we want to turn to the other side so that we can weave alongside this side, we are going to put all the 2 beads on the right fishing line this way. Now we are using the left fishing line to cross. Can you see that? So you realize that it has turned again to the other side for you to be able to weave alongside here. So for you to continue, take the thread that is facing to the top, directly to the top of your work. Okay, you realize that the threads are of 2 opposite directions. Take the one that is pointing to the top, or the one that is on your left hand side, and then you pick 3 beads and put all of them on the left fishing line as I said. Then now you use your right fishing line to cross the 3rd bead, then you pull it. Okay, so now for you to continue again, you use your right fishing line, you enter the next bead this way, you pull it out. Now you use your left fishing line to pick 2 beads, then you cross with your right fishing line. Use your right fishing line to enter the next bead, then you use your left fishing line to pick 2 beads, and then you use your right fishing line to cross it. You enter the next bead with your right fishing line. You use your left fishing line to pick 2 beads and cross with the 2nd bead. You pull it. You enter with your right fishing line. Use your left fishing line to pick 2 beads, cross with your right fishing line, you pull it. So you are going to continue this until you get here. So I'll meet you when we get here. So at this point, our fishing line is short, or it's almost finished. So we'll complete it, or we'll end it by passing through some few beads, then we'll make a knot. So when you want to make a knot, just take your fishing line from each side. So as I take the right fishing line, I'm going to pass through several beads. I'm not going to pass directly here. I'm going to pass through this lane, this line, so that you will not be seeing the fishing line crossing the space in between the beads here. So to do that, I'll enter this, I'll pull it out, I'll enter this again, I'll pull it out, and then I'll enter here. So you realize that I passed through zigzag so that it will not be showing or crossing the spaces in between the beads. So I'll take the 2nd thread and do the same thing. We pass here, we also pass here, then here, and now you come out to meet the other thread, which is the first one. So you realize that the 2 threads are all meeting at one side. Okay, so now we are going to make a double knot. So this is the first one. Okay, and then the 2nd one. So to do that, I'll just take my plier to help me or aid me to pull it very hard. Okay, so this is it. You can cut the excess thread off. Cut it very close to the bead, but make sure it does not loose. Now to continue your work, you take another fishing line, a fresh one, you cut a new fishing line. Then get the edge, one edge of the fishing line. So you realize that this was where we ended. So for us to continue, we need to come out from the same bead. Okay, so as you can see, I come out from the same bead, and now I'll continue my work by entering this particular bead. So I'll just enter with my right fishing line. Then I'll pull it and make sure that the two edges of the thread are equal. Okay, but now because we want to turn our work. Okay, we want to turn and continue weaving alongside our work. We are going to use the thread that is on our right fishing line again. Then we pick two beads on it. Then you cross with your left fishing line this way. Bring the edges together. Then you pull it down. So this is what you'll be getting. This is what you'll be getting. So we are going to continue and weave alongside here. So for us to continue weaving alongside here, I'll show you once again. You realize that one thread is pointing to the top of your work. This way, this particular thread, which is on your left hand side, is facing to the top, and then one is coming down to yourself. So take the fishing line that is facing to the top, the one in your left fishing line, and now you pick 3 beads on it like this. Okay, then you cross with your right fishing line like this. Then you pull it down. So you realize that we do this anytime we are starting a new row. Okay, anytime we are starting a new row, we use 3 beads. Now to continue, you take the fishing line that is on your right hand, then you enter the next bead like this. Then you pull your thread out. Make sure you are pulling your thread very well. Now you take the thread that is outside, like the thread that is on your left hand side, and now you continue with 2 beads again. So now we are going to continue with 2 beads until we get here. So you enter the next bead with your right fishing line. Then you take your left fishing line and pick 2 beads. Then you cross with your right fishing line on the second bead. You enter the next bead with your right fishing line like this. You pull it out. You take your left fishing line, you pick 2 beads and cross with your right fishing line. So we are going to continue with the same process until we get here. So this is the last bead again on this row, and we are going to turn again. So when you enter the last bead with your right fishing line, now you use the same right fishing line to pick 2 beads. This is to just to enable us to be able to turn to one side. Then you cross with your left fishing line. So you realize that it has turned again. Okay, so for us to begin another row, you take your fishing line, the one pointing to the top, then you pick 3 beads. So anytime you are starting a new row, you take the fishing line that is pointing outside the work or pointing to the top, the one on your left hand side, then you pick 3 beads. Then you cross with the third bead. So anytime you are starting a new row, that is what you will do. So for you to continue, you take your right fishing line, you enter the next bead, which is this one. Then you pull it out. Now you use your left fishing line to pick 2 beads. So you are going to continue working with 2 beads until you get to the last bead again. Okay, so now you take your right fishing line, you enter the next bead, then you pull it out. You take your left fishing line, you pick 2 beads, then you cross with the second bead. So this is all that we are going to do in this part. Okay, so we are going to weave this very long. This is 1 2 3 4 5. So we are going to make it 13 by 23. Okay, so this is 5 out of the 23. So you continue going back and forth until you get the desired size of the bag you want. But in this case, the particular bag I'm making is 13 by 23. That is the base and the height of the bag. So I'll meet you when I'm on the last row.